Greetings comic book fans, I'm Jason and welcome to my comic book reviews for the second week of January 2015. As always, my reviews are going to be set up into three sections. We're going to have DC Comics, then the independent books, and then close the show with Marvel. Going into this week, I was a bit annoyed with Marvel, felt I was going away from that company because of their pricing structure. Could they win me back with the content of those books? Well, we'll find out about in our Marvel reviews. But to kick this show off, as always, we're going to go with DC. And not much from DC this week, but without further ado, let's get to those reviews. So here we are with DC, just the two weekly books this week. First up, we have Batman Eternal, issue number 41. Way back in the beginning of this book, I felt it should have been called Gotham Eternal, because I felt that it was going to be much more, certainly from the first few issues, it was going to be just more than just Batman. That it was going to be about the whole of Gotham, and kind of a celebration, not just of Batman, but of all the characters that have added so much to his world. And I felt, so I felt it should have been called Gotham Eternal. Now this issue is an issue where we have no Batman in it. There is not one glimpse of the Bat. And so, like, it would have made more sense. Therefore, some people will have a problem saying, well, I'm buying a Batman book that's got no Batman in it. So, but that's why I felt sometimes just the way you brand something, and maybe, I don't know, maybe Batman Eternal will sell more books than Gotham Eternal, and ultimately that will make the decision of what to call it. Anywho, getting out of like what it's called, because it's Batman Eternal and it's not going to change. This issue was good. It didn't have no Batman in, but that didn't affect the quality of the story. We focus on Red Robin and Harper Row as they've tracked down where the nanobots are coming from. And this is a plot point that's going way back to the beginning of this story that we're coming back to now. And so Red Robin recruits Red Hood and Batgirl to help him go in and take out the bad guy that is spreading these and hopefully stop the nanobots. And so a lot of the story kind of concentrates on Harper Row. And if you read the preview way back when in the Capullo-Snyder Batman book of Batman Eternal, and we saw Batman with Bluebird as his sidekick, this kind of explains how we get to there. How does Harper Row go from being Harper Row to being Bluebird, and then being basically Red Robin's sidekick to being Batman's sidekick? We get the beginnings of that in here, so that was cool and that was good to see. Batgirl in this issue seems like she's in a bad mood. I don't know if that was because they overcompensated because she's so much brighter, and her own book is such a different tone than the rest of the Bat family of books. That I don't know if the writer overcompensated to bring her back, or if she's still supposed to be angry at Red Hood. I love the art in this book by Joe Quinones, and also the colours from Kelsey. Oh, I forgot the person's Kelsey Shannon. There's just this fantastic. The way they go together is so good. The art anyway is fabulous, but then you add in those gorgeous colours, and it just gives the book its all its own vibe. And I really like this, and I would love to see a Red Robin book illustrated by Joe Quinones with colours by Kelsey Shannon. I think you've got part of the creative team already done there, because I think that would be really good. Because I can't believe that Red Robin, oh no, I'm not going to show you, that's a bit of a spoiler. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to show you, because I don't want to spoil any of the book. I don't know why Red Robin hasn't got his own book. You've got characters like, with no disrespect, but characters like Resurrection Man, Vibe, Katana, Batwing, you know, all of these characters. What's that one at the moment? There's one at the moment as well. Is it Carrion? All these characters that are lesser known characters that have got their own solo books, yet Red Robin doesn't get a go. Like this dude, I think could carry his own book. And yeah, okay, they said, well, you can follow him in Teen Titans, but you can follow Superman and Batman and Aquaman and the Flash in Justice League, but they still have their own solo books. So I don't get why Red Robin doesn't, because I think he's a really good character. I've really loved how he's been represented in this series, and I'd like to see him in his own book. Anywho, so yeah, I'm really enjoying Red Robin, really enjoying this story. I thought this was a really good issue, and I'd give Batman Eternal issue 41 4 stars out of 5. So our final book this week from DC, there's only 2, is Future's End, issue number 37. This issue, we get the explanation. This happened last issue to Constantine, but then he seemed to be somewhere else. So we get the explanation of what's going on there. We also get a glimpse into the past of what happened to Gemworld and why Amethyst has such heart feelings towards Constantine. So that was all really good, and also we get a bit more Frankenstein, and he, all the way through this book, he's been my favourite character. My one question reading this was like, Dr. Polaris is battling the Justice League, and I'm like, how did he get so good with his powers? You know, like, he's only just got them, but already he can do all these amazing things. So yeah, I didn't quite buy all of that. There's a real shocking turn to our 50 Sue part of the story that I did not see coming, and I'm super intrigued to see next week how that's going to turn out. And the last page, really great cliffhanger that I'm excited to see. And yeah, I felt this book was a back to form. I felt the last few issues have been setting stuff up. This issue things start going, moving forward, and yeah, I'm still really enjoying this book, and I give Future's End issue 37 4 stars out of 5. So that's our 2 DC books. Now we move on to the independents. So next up we have our independents. We've got 5 books, independent books to review this week. 1 from Image, 3 from Valiant, and 1 from Titan Comics. So kicking things off with Image Comics, we have Lazarus, issue number 14. This is one of my favourite books right now. Really loving Lazarus, and this was another really good issue. It was a really quick read, but that doesn't mean that much happened. There's still a load of material crammed in, but I just found myself so engrossed that I just whizzed through it. They picks up a forgotten plot point with the email. Who sent that email way back at the beginning, at the end of the first arc to Forever? We get back into that as she questions Jonah, because she's all thought all along it was him. And during that dialogue and that conversation, things come out, and I'm really interested in where that's all going to go. We then get the showdown at last between Malcolm Carlyle and the head of the Hawk family, and I really loved that as well, and the consequences from that. The world they're creating here is brilliant. It's tense all the way through. Great reveals, pushing the story always in interesting directions. Really loving this book right now, and I give Lazarus issue number 14 5 stars out of 5. So now moving over to Valiant, and we have issue number 5 of the Defying Dr. Mirage. This is the final issue of this mini-series, and as seems to be becoming a pattern with Valiant, is their mini-series, they constantly get stronger, so by the time you get to the 5th issue, you're like it's super good, and I just really like that. The other thing I really like about Valiant, they only bring out about 9 books a month, which if you compare them to like Image and Marvel and DC is a very small number. But it's the variety they get with those books. You know, you've got Dr. Mirage, which is more your supernatural. You've got Exo Man of War, which is more your straight up superhero with a sprinkle of sci-fi. You've got Rai, which is straight up science fiction. You've got, you know, Quantum and Woody, which is more your comical kind of light-hearted kind of book. You've got Eternal Warrior, which they've just brought the last issue of that out, but that's more kind of like your back in the day medieval kind of sword stuff. So yeah, they've got all these different books, but they all do something a bit different, and I really am really impressed about the variety. Not only like a Valiant bringing out great books, but whatever your taste, there should be at least one book for you. Getting into this book, and if I keep looking down, it's because I'm keep looking at my notes. I thought this was a great conclusion, much like Eternal Warrior last week, Days of Steel. They don't leave no stone unturned. They go back to everything and really round it out nicely. There's a nice twist in the story where you think it's gone one way and then it ends up the other way. I really like how the story ends and where it leaves everything, and I would definitely be up for seeing Dr. Mirage return. So yeah, this was really good, and I give Defying Dr. Mirage 5 stars out of 5. So next up we have, sticking with Valiant, we have issue number 6 of Rai. This was brilliant. I read issues 1 to 6 all in a row, so that may hamper my ability to review this as a separate entity, because I kind of like read them all back to back. I definitely, issue 5 was a jumping on point, and that's where I jumped on, and then I managed to get issues 1 to 4 on eBay, and I'm glad I did. I think while yeah, you can follow the story if you pick up issue 5, I think you definitely get a deeper appreciation if you get it from issue 1, and everything makes a lot more sense if you buy it from issue 1. So either dig them issues out on eBay or your local comic shop, or get the trade. I'm sure they've bought the trade of the first 4 issues. So go and get it. It's well worth it, and it does definitely give you a deeper appreciation for the story we got here, because they're building such a great world, and where the book is heading and the things we may see in the future, I'm so excited for, because the world they're building here is just fantastic. The basic story here in this is it's set in the future, in the 40th century, and Japan has now basically got its own planet. It's expanded and it's kind of broken away from Earth, and you've got New Japan, and this entity called Father runs Japan, basically, and he's like basically artificial intelligence that like runs Japan, and he has Rai, and Rai is his protector. He protects Japan, takes out any threat to Father to keep Japan safe. So you have these people that are against Father, that want to kind of break down technology called the Radis. You then have these robot like creatures called the, oh god, I have totally forgotten the name. Positrons, and what basically to stop Japan coming overcrowded, people aren't allowed to have children unless they get permission off Father. And when they turn 16, to stop them getting lonely, they are given a positron, and this positron grows with them. It's a robot, it grows with them, and it's their lifelong companion. And they're basically a slave class almost. You know, they've got inhibitors, so they can only get so intelligent, and they will never, you know, disobey their human masters. But we have this one positron called Momo, and she was been abused by her master, but Rai in the first story ended up killing her master, and now she's free. And we get this issue, we get to catch up with what she's been doing as she's not leading this rebellion, while the Radis want to destroy all the positrons and want to get away from the technology. I want to, you know, go back to the old days, if you will, and overthrow Father. You've then got now Momo with leading a kind of like a positron uprising. In the middle of all this, you've got Rai, who has found out that Father killed his mother, and he also wants to overthrow Father because he doesn't trust Father. So he knows that the Radis fighting the positrons is what Father wants, because it keeps everybody kind of distracted from Father, from questioning Father, from coming together. So Rai is trying to make peace between these two so that they can strike at Father, but at the same time Father can read Rai's mind, so Rai has to keep his thoughts blocked away, and that's proving increasingly more and more difficult. To add to all this, you've also got this character called Deathlok, who he has tried this before with the previous Rai and it didn't work, but this Rai there might be hope, but he doesn't want to put all his eggs in one basket, and he wants to get to Earth. But his only way to get to Earth is a way that Father will find out. So he has to find a way to get through this without Father finding out. We also get to find out what happened to Momo between issues 4 and 5. There was a bit of a gap, and what's going on with her. So all in all, it's just a really good book. The world they're building is brilliant. The art by Clayton Crane is just really unique. And really makes the book stand out. And I just think makes the book work really well. I'm loving this book. I did find, like I mentioned, it works a lot better when you've read it all the way through, rather than picking it up from issue 5. So I definitely would recommend going back to the beginning. But yeah, absolutely loving this. So excited to see where this is going to go. And I give Rai issue number 6 5 stars out of 5. So our final Valiant book, and our penultimate book in total, it is Q2, The Return of Quantum and Woody. I read, again with this book, I read issues 1 to 4 back to back. So again, it may affect my overall judgment of this issue. Basically what this is it's the continuation. If this book had carried on from the 90s, this is kind of like the continuation of where it would be today. So we have the original Quantum, and he has gotten a new Quantum and Woody that he's trained. We've got the original Woody who's returned now into his life, and basically he doesn't trust what Quantum's doing with these kids. And we have them, they're trying to stop this guy called Caro, who's trying to get this holy grail of how to make a super soldier, an artificial human. And everybody in this in the story has their own motives for getting this. But our new Quantum and Woody have gone up against Caro a couple of times now, and each time I've had their ass handed to them. So they want to get him again, so they've sneaked off to face him again. And so now the original Quantum and Woody have to come back to try and help them and save the day. I really like this. There were some really great twists. All the characters are a bit shady. All characters are like that shade of grey. But there were some really great plot twists in this. And I'm really, by the end, you get some really big revelations. I like the leaps between the past and the present, because whenever they use the past, it kind of illustrates a point or leads to a better understanding of something that's happening in the present. So I think that's really well done. I just was really impressed with this, because going in, I didn't expect that Quantum and Woody would be a book I like, because humour is a difficult thing to do, you know, and to make it funny every issue. And while there are their funny moments, there's also a lot of great drama in here, and some great plot twists. Again, I would definitely recommend getting it from issue 1 if you really want to enjoy it. But I'm loving it. Q2, The Return of Quantum and Woody, issue 4 gets 5 stars out of 5 from me. So our final independent book this week from Titan Comics, it is Doctor Who, The 10th Doctor Adventures, issue number 6. This starts a brand new story. This is one you can jump on here. It gives a short introduction into who our cast of characters are. So if you want to know who Gabby is, it introduces her there. So that's all you need to know, really, and you're good to go. I like this story. It's set during World War One, and the Doctor accidentally ends up there. He's not meant to end up there. And they end up in this battlefield during World War One, and the Doctor ends up getting knocked out, which means then when some soldiers come across Gabby and the Doctor, they're not totally trusting who they are. Plus, you've got a weeping angel who's going around, killing people as they do, push them back in time. So, you've got that all going on. To me, reading it felt like an episode of the classic series with the whole history aspect, but it had new Who characters in it. That's how it felt, like classic Who, but with new Who characters in it. There's a bit of a horror feel with the Weeping Angel, kind of taking people out one by one, and kind of they've ended up in this part and they don't know why it's deserted, and the Weeping Angel is there and it's taking them out. The art, I felt, was the only thing that let this issue down. There were some great moments with the art, like this bit on the battlefield, and then there were other bits where I was less impressed. Here's another good bit, that I really loved, but then some of the bits when they draw the Doctor, I wasn't as impressed with. So yeah, I felt, for me, the art was a mixed bag. I really like Gabby. I think she's a great companion, and I'm also loving that there's that total lack of romance between Doctor and Gabby. They're just friends traveling, and I like that. I think sometimes they can go overdo the kind of everybody's in love with the Doctor. So it's really nice just to have a companion who's enjoying traveling with the Doctor and seeing all these fabulous things. Again, I really enjoyed this, and I think the Doctor Who books, since Titan started doing them, have been really good, and I've really been enjoying it. This is another good installment, and I give issue 6 of Doctor Who, The 10th Doctor Adventures, 4 stars out of 5. So those are all my indie comics done. Now our final stop in my reviews, it's on to Marvel. So here we are in the final part of my show, is we have the Marvel reviews. And no matter how much I moan about Marvel and how much I talk about the pricing structure that I don't like, and the $4.99 books and just the total randomness of them and the release schedule that's really pushing me away from Marvel, it still is the biggest part of my stack of books every week. 2 books this week from DC, 5 books from independent companies, and 8 books from Marvel. So my displeasure at them isn't really showing itself in number of books bought yet. So we kick off this week with one of the books that I was a bit narked with. It is Avengers issue number 40, which for some random reason was $4.99. It had extra pages, but you know, there was no like kind of like build up, oh, next issue 40-page special, you know, building it up. So yeah, it was just like the week before you find out, oh, that one's $4.99. It's like, yeah, not good. Anywho, getting into the book, what is really great about Avengers issue number 40 is that it rewards long-time readers, and this book's been doing that. Now, if you're like me and you've kind of dipped in and out of this book because there's been parts where Hickman's lost you, or if you've been one of the lucky few that has stuck with it all the way through, Hickman is really rewarding you right now with the story, as he's kind of picking up plot points and things are coming full circle, and you're beginning to understand the bigger picture and why this happened there and how it ramifies and why it was important. So I'm really loving what he's doing with all that and how that's all making more sense. This issue we kind of go back to a plot point from going back all the way to issue 1 of New Avengers, probably going all the way back to Avengers versus the X-Men. A plot point that goes all the way back there that we thought maybe was not going to be picked up now, but it is. So we saw in this book the Illuminati manipulated things, so they came together, the S.H.I.E.L.D. Avengers and the New Avengers came to get them, and they all had this big battle, and then Invisible Woman put them all into force shields, because she was with the Illuminati all along and not with the S.H.I.E.L.D. Avengers as we thought. Well, we knew, but they thought she was with them. And Reed convinces Cap to hear them out, and they reveal this plan that Namor is going to plant a bomb that's going to help them take out the Cabal. And that's basically it. There's some great scenes between characters, some great dialogue. Like I say, it picks up some fantastic points, and then it twists. There's a big twist and a big revelation, and yeah, it was brilliant. It was really good. I really enjoyed where this issue went. It really shocked me. Hickman was not messing about. This is brilliant. And like, after going into this book feeling negative because of the price, it just totally won me over, and I totally enjoyed it. The art as well by Stefano Casciali is just brilliant. Really loving the book, really loving where it's going, and this issue was just an absolute joy, and I give issue 40 of The Avengers my pick of the week. So moving right along now to all new Captain America issue number 3, and I'm convinced Marvel have cloned Rick Remender, but they haven't done a good cloning, and the clone is not quite up to the level of the original, and I'm convinced that the original is still writing all new Captain America while the clone wrote Axis. That is my opinion, because I cannot put together in my head the guy that wrote Axis, which was such a massive disappointment, also writes all new Captain America, which is just awesome. This issue is brilliant. The bulk of the issue takes place between Captain America and Sin, who's the daughter of the Red Skull. As she's trying to break Captain America, but not just break him like as to defeat him, but to break him mentally. You know, that is going to be her ultimate victory. So that's the thing that she tries to do in this issue. And so we get the whole origin of Sam Wilson, how he became the Falcon. And by getting that origin and getting his life story and his backstory, we get to see why Sam Wilson is worthy of being Captain America. And I think it's great. One, because I've been reading Captain America on and off since the 80s, and even I didn't know the Falcon's origin story. So that was brilliant. And the way that they use it as well to illustrate why he's so worthy, I thought was just well written here. There's some really nice twists and turns in the story, as we don't know at times what are lies and what is truth. So I really liked all of that, as it messed with the reader's head, let alone Captain America's head. So I really like the direction. We have crazy Nazis in this issue, and with a crazy plan. Their plan this issue is they are going, the blood of this child, this inhuman child, can make people infertile. They've made to make it an airborne kind of thing, and they're going to plant it in bombs, and they've got an antidote that's going to, all the Hydra agents are going to inject this antidote. They're going to make the world infertile, so all their non-believers and their rivals and their enemies are going to die with this generation, and the next generation will all be Hydra and Nazis. It is just an insane plan, but it's so Nazi because they were all about being superior, being the master race, and wanted to eradicate everyone else. So it's totally in their mindset, it totally works, but it's just totally bonkers as well. And I don't know if all the science, can something airborne stop you, make you infertile? I don't know. But yeah, it's totally bonkers. Don't know if all the science stands up, but I just loved the totally bonkers idea. It was great. The art is fantastically consistent from Imminent, as it always has been, whatever book he's on. I just really enjoyed this. Really great book. Definitely well worth checking out. If you wasn't sure about Sam Wilson's Captain America, this issue may change your mind. And I give all new Captain America issue number 3 5 stars out of 5. We now move on to Deathlok issue number 4, and the team of Edmondson and Perkins are just doing a bang-up job on the book. The art just remains brilliantly beautiful. The story, we're beginning to see this whole kind of thing they've built here with Deathlok, not knowing that Henry Hayes not knowing that he's Deathlok. We see all of that falling down as he's not there at home with his daughter. She's going off the rails, and that could end up affecting, you know, this whole secret. So that's really good. A couple of the stories are kind of coming together. We've got something funky and interesting going on at S.H.I.E.L.D. that I don't know where that's going to go. But yeah, I'm just really enjoying this book and how it's threading you along. Definitely well worth one checking out, as it's just been brilliant so far. And Perkins' art, he's not an artist that I really was that aware of before this series, but I'm just loving the way he draws this book. And again, I would give Deathlok issue number 4 5 stars out of 5. It's just a brilliant book. Speaking of brilliant books, we have Daredevil issue number 12. This concludes the Stuntmaster story and is a really cool conclusion to that. There's a really shocking twist, as there's something that happens that had me totally fooled, and I was just really shocked with the reveal. Really well done. Fantastic writing from Wade. The art by Samney, as always. His layouts in this are just gorgeous. He's such a fantastic storyteller, and the way he chooses to lay it out is just superb. Throughout the book, there are just some excellent double-page spreads, and I just love how the book is drawn and coloured. The colours might not be as vibrant as when we had like Rodriguez and Matt Hollingsworth on the book, but this colours are still really done well, and I just really love the whole layout and the choices here. Makes it look a really good book. Loving how Wade draws Daredevil, how he shows his limitations because of his blindness. Even though he's got superpowers, there are still limitations, but that doesn't stop him being a hero and finding a way around it, which I think is really cool. So yeah, this was another really good story, another really good issue, and I give issue number 12 of Daredevil 5 stars out of 5. So now we move on to one of the other $4.99 books, Spider-Verse issue 2. I didn't want to pick this one up, but I didn't realise it was still on my order, and I did pick it up. I really wish I'd remembered, because this was rubbish. Basically, it's all different stories running through the book, and they're too short to really give any depth to each character, which is really a shame. The first main story, there's a short story, then we have a main story here with a Nancy. And I can remember as a kid at school we had stories of a Nancy the Spider, and I don't know if in this they've kind of made a Nancy into his world's SpiderMan. Throughout the book I like the art. Each story it's different, but yeah, this added nothing to like any characters. I can't remember seeing a Nancy in any of the books. We then have the Antarctic Spider-Man. I really like the some great ideas, like with great power comes no future. I really like the art in this. It really reminded me of 2000 AD, kind of like future stories about a future kind of apocalyptic antarctic world. Yes, I love the art, love the feel, but again it was too short to really give any depth into that character. We then get our story in Spanish, which I think is really cool for Spanish readers, but obviously, you know, many would say I barely speak English, so for me to like speak, let alone read another language, is going to be a challenge. But the art throughout I thought was really nice, and that was an upside for it. And then our final story features two Spider-Men. They've both run out of web shooters, and so they're discussing. We've got like one in a black costume and our regular Spider-Man, and they're trying to figure out what in their world is different, and they can't figure nothing out. And we don't find out by the end what the difference is, because you're kind of given the kind of impression that they could be the same Peter Parker. And so and then it says the end, and it's to see more of one of these Spider-Men this summer. So I paid $4.99 for a book. All the stories are too short to really give me any depth into any character, and they weren't fun. They weren't like before where we get these fun kind of ideas. There were stories that could have really done with being a bit longer to give you that more depth. But then at the end of the book, they say the end. They don't give an end to a story and tease us with something we might see in the summer. And that's what I get for my $4.99. I say avoid it like the plague. Do not go near it. Do not put your dollars down. Even if you're absolutely loving Spider-Verse, don't buy it. Walk away. It is not worth it. It's rubbish. I would have given this, for the very first time, a book, I would have given it a 1. But because I thought the art all the way through this was really good, and I liked how the art in the stories was so different, and that was the one positive I could come away, so I couldn't totally give it a 1. So I'm going to give this 2 stars out of 5, but yeah, avoid. Next up, we have Guardians 3000, issue number 4. Yep, issue number 4. I'm really enjoying this book. I'm getting, with each issue, I'm getting more familiar with the characters, and I think that's making me enjoy the story more. I really need to dig out the first 3 issues, because I think rereading it, now I know the characters a bit better, I think I'll probably enjoy the story better. I like how through the Marvel universe right now, we've got something big's coming, and there's trouble with time, and it's kind of a theme through all the Marvel books. And I like how even in something like this, you still get that theme. We get the origin of Vance Astro in this one, which was really cool as we get further into that character. So that was really good. Yeah, and like, yeah, I just think because I'm getting to grips more with the story, with the characters, sorry, it's really helping with the story. Really love like all the legacy kind of type characters, you know, like these characters, and this is what their legacy is now in this future. I think that's all really cool, and I'd give Guardians 3000 issue number 4 4 stars out of 5. So our penultimate book this week is Silver Surfer issue number 8, and I don't know if Dan Slott's imagination has been massaged by the fact, like me, he's a big Doctor Who fan, and years of watching Doctor Who, as like I've said, massage his imagination, or if he's just got a great imagination anyway. But the worlds and the aliens he creates in this are just brilliant. It's a really fun book, as you would expect with a book with art by Mike Aldred. It's a really fun book. I love the art, I love the colours, the story's brilliant. This issue, Silver Surfer has been travelling through the space with Dawn, which was an idea originally I hated, but it's really worked well. And Silver Surfer hasn't told Dawn about his past yet, and they get to this planet that has got all these people who are survivors from the different worlds that Galactus destroyed, and they are positively terrified of the Silver Surfer. And the Silver Surfer, you know, and Dawn, the truth comes out of his past, and it's like, how is Dawn going to react to this? What are the ramifications going to be of this? So it's a really good story that's like going along, really fun, and then boof, it hits you. Really good. The last page is just a last page of awesomeness. I loved it, and I'm so excited for the next issue. as I said, the art is just, as you would expect, Aldred. And we've got Laura Aldred on colours, and she complements Mike Aldred's art so brilliantly. There's some great ideas, some great layouts. I love how the book is drawn. I also really love the way that they've given the surfboard to me a personality. He's a fully, you know, he's a character. Even though he doesn't speak, he can communicate, and I really loved the way that he's able to communicate, which is brilliant. All in all, this has just been a really great book. Definitely recommend trying it out. And I give Silver Surfer issue number 8 a definite 5 stars out of 5. So our final book this week is Star Wars issue number 1, and I loved this. This was really good. I love the layout of the book, kind of opening it up, and I was really surprised because you have a long time ago in a galaxy far away. So like I'm like, oh, that's good. And then you open like the next page, a double page spread with Star Wars, and I'm like, ooh. And then the next page we've got, you know, the writing going down the page in book 1. And I think for every story arc, if they're going to do this could be really good. And then when we get into the main page, for the first page, we have this ship that passes over us into the planet below, which is really good. And then we get into the story, which basically the rebels kind of want to press their advantage after destroying the Death Star, and so they go to this rebel base. They kind of disguise themselves, and they go to this base of the Empires. I think it's kind of like where all their ships and weaponry are, and they're going to try and destroy the planet, which is just brilliant. The story is well paced, well written by Jason Aaron. He has a good feel of all the characters, and it's done well. Characters appear at the right time, and there's some really good turns in the story that, you know, like I say, happen at the right time. The last page is brilliant, because even though, like, you know, these characters can't die because they're going to come back in Empire, it's still super cool seeing how their meeting at this point is going to push the story, and how they're going to get out of this situation. So all of that's really cool. I'm just really excited for the future of this book, and this was a great first issue, and I'd give it a definite 5 stars out of 5. It went close for my pick of the week. In the back we get kind of like, we get a preview of the Darth Vader book, and all I needed was this double page spread. I'm going to show you now, and I'm so getting that book. We get this double page spread here of Darth Vader in Jabba's palace. I'm like on board for that. Is this how he gets hooked up with Boba Fett? Does he go to Jabba's palace and Jabba hooks him up with Boba Fett? I don't know, but yeah, that was brilliant. We also had a preview for the Princess Leia book, which was less impressive, but yeah. So I'm super stoked for the Darth Vader book. I'm going to be getting that for sure, even though once again that first issue is a horrible $4.99. But yeah, those are my reviews for this week. I will be back hopefully the beginning of next week. As you're watching this, I'm uploading this on the Friday, so I should be back next Monday, Tuesday, with a review video, and then also a haul video on Wednesday. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please, if you enjoyed this video, please give me those beautiful thumbs up. Let me know you like what I'm doing. Also, if you agree or disagree with my opinions, let me know in the comments below. I will endeavour to get back to you as quickly as possible, because I do like to answer all the comments, because I really appreciate people leaving comments. So I think it's the polite thing to do. Anywho, that's me pretty much done. So I'm going to say, I've been Jason. These have been my comic book reviews. Bye for now.